at Gable and American Made Raw. They interrupt. Gable calls himself Minnesota's most famous athlete. He says the transfer window is open, and Nick Aldis called him in to talk about coming to SmackDown. Major changes coming to Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, they said, so expect call-ups at this point. Maybe expect people to go to NXT that aren't doing a whole lot on the main roster, and clearly maybe mainly there to freshen things up before the next Netflix launch. So Netflix is definitely the bigger play, the more important play for the WWE at the moment. It makes sense to fill that show with your bigger, more mainstream stars, but how heavily weighted will Netflix be compared to SmackDown? What do you expect the big changes to be? And who would you build SmackDown around?
Cody is going to go to Raw, I think, and I think we got a clue about that later, which we'll talk about, some of the backstage handshakes and so on. And to me, that means Gunther going to SmackDown, and if he's the World Heavyweight Champion there, he's great. I mean, you guys talk about it all the time. Gunther's really tremendous. He's tremendous in the ring. His character's great. His promos are great. I would have him be the top guy on SmackDown. And I wouldn't have that much of a differential between them. I think they will want, because Netflix is the bigger play, for it to be the A show again. But I don't think that means SmackDown needs to be a B- or anything like that. It can just be one rung on the ladder below. And of course, it's being reported again this week that there's a likelihood of SmackDown going to 3 hours. So that will mean beefing up the roster, which will mean call-ups. So it's an interesting time too, who from NXT, and there's plenty ready in NXT to go, I feel.
So maybe just more so about like the idea of SmackDown being just one rung below. What exactly would that mean? Because we at the very least know that Cena, for his select appearances, I think will probably be a Raw guy. What about your names like a Roman Reigns and a Cody Rhodes? And a CM Punk? Where would you slot that?
The obvious go-to answer is you want them on Netflix, don't you? So you probably want them on Raw. I mean, I certainly see Punk on Raw. Reigns, I mean, it would feel almost wrong not to have him on the flagship show as well. I mean,
but who do you have left for SmackDown? I mean, it wouldn't be so much one rung below anymore if all those guys are on Raw, right? I do expect at least like one of those names to be on SmackDown, whether it be CM Punk or Roman Reigns. Like Roman at this point is sort of like pretty sporadic in his appearances that I think like you could keep him on SmackDown still to be special and not necessarily lose a whole lot of appeal on Raw by not having him on. Same with Punk. Punk is sort of on a similar schedule, isn't he?
Sure, yeah. And out of the folks that we've mentioned, teasing appearances for Reigns is a good thing because I think Paul Thurston mentioned the other day he's wrestled 6 matches this year. That's the sort of schedule he has in the ring. Of course, in the run-up to those, he's appearing on television a lot more than that. But, having him on SmackDown would be a draw.
Punk is seriously, he's one of those very special plays that, Collision, I think, was at one point maybe at its most successful we could point to now, because of the CM Punk attachment. He's somebody that you could just kind of put on an island and people will flock to that island. So I could see him being like a good fit for the SmackDown, for instance. But that'll be interesting. I also wonder if this like Gunther babyface turn is being done as a way to maybe ease him into SmackDown, maybe in a top baby or at least a babyface role. So that'll all be interesting. And of course, the push towards WrestleMania with this happening is interesting as well. And Rumble, like how does that affect Rumble? How does it affect all these things? So
Hitler's birthday night
if you like this
too.
video, consider
Hitler's
joining our
birthday
Patreon.
night.